Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, you're welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, you're welcome as well. In today's video, we are going to learn how to cut an off-shoulder cowl neck top. So if this is something that interests you, consider to subscribe to my YouTube channel, give this video a thumbs up, share this video as well so that others who are interested can also watch. So let's get right into the cutting table. So I already drafted my pattern paper, and here is my shoulder line, my chest line of 7 inches, my bust line of 9.5, my waist of 16, and my hem of 22 inches. So I'm just trying to cut off the excess I have here. First thing I'm going to do is to take in my side seam allowance so that I would know the measurement I'm working with. So my bust is 35, and quarter of 35 will give me 8 3/4. Then I added half an inch for stitching allowance, so I'm going to be adding half an inch stitching allowance to my waist and my hip line as well. I'm not adding any ease allowance on this pattern paper because the fabric I'm using is stretchy, but if you are using a non-stretchy material, you can just add ease allowance to your waist and your hem. Okay, so now that I've done that, I'm going to curve the hem line a bit and then cut everything off. So after cutting off, I'm going to be cutting off the armhole as well. So what I will do now is from the chest line, I'll be folding this inward so that I will use this pattern paper to cut out the back before cutting the front. Now here is my fabric, and I've folded it into 2. Okay, your fabric should be folded into 2. Then I'll go ahead and cut this out. Now at the upper part, I'll be adding half an inch stitching allowance at the upper part of my fabric. So now that I've cut out the back, I'm going to notch the center so that I will know the center back and the part which is going to be the top. So I'm going to open up my pattern paper again so that we can cut out the front. So I'll be taking 4 inches away from the front. Remember, we are making an off-shoulder cowl neck. So once that is done, I'm going to mark the neckline, and I'll be marking 4.5 as my neckline. That is how wide I want the neckline to be. Then you're going to reconnect the armhole. So I'm going to be cutting off that shaded part. So now that that has been done, I'm going to label this the front. And then I'm going to take a slant from my chest line to the bust line. Okay, you can see how I took the mark. So I'm going to be slashing from there. You're not going to be slashing completely, okay? So now I'm going to bring my fabric and place my fabric from the lower part of my fabric. You can see how I placed my fabric because I'll be needing a facing at the top. So that was why I shifted my pattern paper very down. So you can spread as much as you want. The more you spread, the more your cowl neck will expose your chest. Okay, so it totally depends on what you want. Now you're going to take a straight line from that neck width. Okay, you take it straight. You are not going to be slanting the line. You are not going to be following the slant of the paper. No, just follow the slant I made here. So now I'm taking the facing, although the facing I took was actually very small because after cutting out, I realized that I wanted the facing to, I would like to use the facing to finish up the armhole area. So what I did was to add more, I had to join more fabric to my facing so that I will have enough to stitch my armhole. So when you're cutting yours, you measure from the neckline down to like 1 inch below your armhole, and whatever measurement you have there is going to be your facing, is going to be how long your facing will be, so that you'll be able to use your facing to finish up the armhole area. Okay, I hope you understand. So I'm going to notch here so that I will know where my facing is starting from. You need to notch where your facing is starting from. So after cutting, so what I'm doing right now is to cut the facing for the back, because I'll also need facing for the back. So you measure how long you want the facing for the back to be. So it totally depends on how long you want it to be. Okay, so what I will do is to also notch the part that will be going into the neckline so that I'll be able to know the center of my facing, just like I did at the top part of the back piece. So once that is done, this is what I have. So I've went ahead to join more fabric to my facing, as you can see, so that it will be able to match up with my armhole. Now for the strap I'll be using, remember I took 7 inches off at the back because my chest line is 7 inches. So what I took off at the back is 7, and what I took off at the front is 4. So which means the length of my strap is going to be 11 inches. So I cut out 11 inches exactly. I did not add any joining allowance to this strap. You don't need to add any joining allowance to this strap, because if you had joining allowance to this strap, you have excess around the strap, because our shoulder area is slanted. Okay, so you don't need to add any joining allowance to your strap. So my strap is 2 inches wide, so I went ahead to fold it into 2, and it gives me 1 inch. Okay, then I stitch it by half an inch, and I have half an inch left. Then go ahead and turn it out with your pin. So I'm going to be placing this around the part where I notched. Okay, so it's going to be in between your front piece and the facing, and you place it beside the notch part I made. So you are going to be stitching it while you are also closing up your armhole area. So when you are done, you should have something like this. Okay, this is what it's going to look like, and you can see my armhole area. I've finished my armhole area as well. You're going to repeat the same thing on the other side. Now this is the back, and I'm measuring 3.5 inches for the width of where I'm going to be stitching this strap. You'll repeat the same thing on the other side. So once you are done, the right side of your back is going to be facing the right side of the front. Okay, and then you are going to bring your strap. Look at how I'm doing my strap. So my strap is going to be facing the right side of my fabric. Okay, then you go ahead and stitch it down. The strap is facing the right side of my back piece. If you understand what I'm talking about, then go ahead and stitch down the strap, and you repeat the same thing on the other side. So once you are done, you're going to take in the facing. Okay, the notch part of the back neck will be matching the notch part of the facing. Then place them together, and you're going to be stitching from the start to the end. Now when you are done, you can also top stitch on the facing, that is the back facing. You top stitch, and when you are done, you can use your hemming gum to stick the facing and the fabric together, so that it's not going to be popping out when you're putting on your top. So this is what I have after stitching. So you can also weave in all the rough edges around there, and give your fabric a good press when you are done stitching. So right now I'm stitching it at the side, and once I'm done stitching the side, I'm going to stitch the hem, and that is going to be the end of our cowl neck top. This is the final look of our cowl neck top. Please consider to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll see you guys in my next tutorial. Bye.